Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you listening to the UNews Weekly, coming to you from the UN Information Office in Uzbekistan, and it is episode number 15.
If you want to find out the latest United Nations news of this week, stay tuned.
And your hosts tonight are me, Bobur Komilov,
And Nigina Haitova.
Welcome to the show.
Coming to you in this program, Tashkent hosted a roundtable conference titled Implementation of International Criteria for Evaluating ICT in Uzbekistan.
UNDP project proposed to introduce the elements of e-government into the system of public services.
The International Day of Families is observed on the 15th of May every year. We're joined by UNICEF experts to tell us more about what it takes to make sure every child enjoys a happy start in life.
The International Day of Families is a very good occasion for UNICEF to talk about the activities in Uzbekistan.
UNDP mainstreaming biodiversity into Uzbekistan's oil and gas sector policies and operations project announced a youth contest on infographics and caption comments to the related photos.
If you want to participate in our contest, please submit your own infographic on the topic what the oil and gas sector industry can do for biodiversity conservation.
UNESCO encourages countries to consider the role of culture as a driver and an enabler of sustainable development. We'll have the latest from Krista Pikat, the acting head of the agency's office in Uzbekistan.
UNESCO is more concerned about the lack of reflection of culture in Millennium Development Goals.
Uzbekistan set ambitious tasks to widely implement ICT in state administration, especially in the context of developing e-governance system, which experts believe is an important tool to improve quality of public service. Dilshad Israilov, the project manager of the UNDP's local governance support, participation and partnership project, spoke to the UN Information Office about the importance of partnership in helping the country achieve these goals.
In this sphere, the UNDP project partners with the State Committee for Communication, Informatization and Telecommunication Technologies of Uzbekistan. UNDP project proposed to introduce the elements of e-government into the system of public services delivery to population and business entities. To this end, the one-stop shop concept was developed, under which the OSS operators assist in receiving public services of various agencies from one place. At present, the UNDP project, in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, is developing the draft legal document, which stipulates the legal status of OSS and source of financing.
However, Uzbekistan secured 91st place in the UN e-government survey 2012.
Uzbek government has been carrying out significant work on the way to implement information and communication technologies in all spheres. Several laws have been enacted, the President of the country and government have been taking decisions, special programs, while the electronic document flow system and interactive services are being gradually introduced. Therefore, the indicated low position of Uzbekistan in the global ICT ranking does not correspond to the facts. On May 3, 2013, the State Committee for Communication and Telecommunication Technologies, in cooperation with the UNDP, organized a roundtable, which gathered representatives of the Parliament, government, ministries and agencies. Main objective of the event was to inform the participants of the international criteria of ICT evaluation, methodologies to conduct surveys, as well as to discuss the draft resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers on measures to implement the ranking of ICT evaluation in all state agencies.
Thank you very much for this useful information. Thank you.
Health is an important pillar in the work of UN all around the world. Such agencies as World Health Organization and UNICEF partner globally with countries to ensure that every individual has what it takes to live a healthy life. On the occasion of International Day of Families, we spoke to Maxim Fazlidinov of UNICEF Uzbekistan to tell us more about what they are doing in the country to ensure that every child enjoys a happy start in their life.
Thanks a lot for your invitation. The International Day of Families is a very good occasion for UNICEF to talk about the activities in Uzbekistan. And As you know, the children are the core mandate of our organization, and of course they are the main value within the family. And we have a number of activities which are very closely linked to this occasion, and I would like to mention a few of them. The first one is the youth initiative that we are conducting throughout the country, and it's entitled Increasing Youth Participation in the Community at the community level. Right now there is a number of youth organized dialogues at the community level that are being conducted peer-to-peer, using peer-to-peer methodology, and also youth-adult kind of combination meetings. And those are to discuss three important rights for children. One of them is right of a child to health, another one is to grow and develop in a family environment, and the third one is the rights of children with disabilities. We think those are very important rights that our children are discussing, and they're coming up with their own action plans on how to improve the situation with regards to these rights. And of course there is a discussion, a broader discussion about child rights going on, and about youth participation, increasing youth participation in the matters of community, in resolving some existing challenges and problems. Another important initiative that we have for families is, and it's now being piloted in two areas of Uzbekistan. It's Namangan province and the Republic of Karakalpakstan. It's the community-based behavior change component of the very large project which we have, is entitled Improvement of Mother and Child Health Services in Uzbekistan. This component is specifically targeted at families and helps to give them skills and opportunities that are required for a better child care. And it includes the issues of nutrition, health, hygiene, and also one of the important behaviors that is being promoted through this component is bonding with the child at early age, which also in its turn contributes into preventing putting young children under 3 into the institutions, which is one of the biggest priorities now for Uzbekistan. The government also joined this call for action, which was just recently voiced at the conference in Bulgaria. And we are also working in this, and I think this is a very important point because of the close linkage to the family, which means that every child has the right to live and grow in a family environment, and even if there is no parents or other close caregivers, we are working to promote foster families and some other ways of alternative care.
If you are a student and you love nature, if you would like to contribute to nature conservation by using information graphic, you are invited to participate in infographic and caption comment contests. Sivara Sharapova, PR specialist of the UNDP Mainstreaming Biodiversity into Uzbekistan's oil and gas sector policies and operations project, speaks about the contest and shares her expectations of the future results.
Hi students, I would like to make an announcement about infographic and caption comment contest. It's for students of any universities located in any city of Uzbekistan, and it launched on the 1st of May. And if you want to participate in our contest, please submit your own infographic on the topic what the oil and gas sector industry can do for biodiversity conservation, or you can submit your own caption for this picture, for this photo. On the photo there is an animal, it's a steppe agama, and it's sitting on the hill which was created as a result of the works carried out on the Uster Plateau. So please students, if you're a creative person, just submit your own caption for this photo, and in a month you will know if you are a winner of this contest or not. And I would like to say that the winners of the contest will be decided by the jury, and jury members are representatives of State Committee for Nature Protection of the Republic of Uzbekistan, National Holding Company Uzbekneftegas, and oil and gas companies such as Lukoil, RLC and others, and definitely UNDP in Uzbekistan as well. So, and the winners, what they will get, they will be featured in our project newsletter, and our project is a joint project of the United Nations Development Program in Uzbekistan, the Global Environment Facility, and the government of Uzbekistan, and our project is mainstreaming biodiversity into Uzbekistan's oil and gas sector policies and operations. So you will be featured in this newsletter, your story about you, about your infographic and your caption, and also you will get certificate and rewarding gift. So please take part, submit your own infographic or your own caption for the photo I showed, and you will wait 1 month and then you will see if you are a winner or not.
You're watching UNews Weekly audio-video podcast coming to you from the UN Information Office in Tashkent. Although culture and science were not part of the Millennium Development Goals as agreed by the international community in 2000, it is still an important tool in promoting and making development sustainable.
Indeed, culture in all its dimensions is a fundamental component of sustainable development, as well as science and education.
And this is exactly what we'll be talking about today as part of our special guest section. Today, for the special guest section, we're joined by the acting head of UNESCO's office in Tashkent, Mrs. Krista Pikat. Krista, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. My first question, Krista, to you is, although culture wasn't defined as part of the Millennium Development Goals in 2000, it is an unanimous agreement of all the member states that culture plays an important role in making development sustainable. So what is UNESCO's position on the role of culture and, let's say, and education in promoting sustainable development?
Well, education is part and parcel of Millennium Development Goals through MDG 2, which of course has a narrow focus on education as it's only dealing with primary education. But I think that there is an overall recognition in the international community about the importance of education. UNESCO is more concerned about the lack of reflection of culture in Millennium Development Goals. Although we also see that since 2010 there has been increasing importance and recognition attached to culture. So in 2010, for instance, there was a General Assembly outcome document that recognized culture's role in sustainable development. And of course, UNESCO is very happy with that, because we believe that culture does contribute to sustainable development, because it first is an important driver of development, because it, of course, everybody knows that the cultural industries and cultural tourism are among the fastest growing economies nowadays. But it's also because we believe that we need to take sort of cultural dimension into consideration when doing whatever kind of development projects. We have to be sensitive to the cultural context. We have to make sure that these our development interventions respect cultural beliefs and values and traditions, because otherwise the interventions are not successful.
And what does UNESCO do in Uzbekistan in the spheres of education and culture?
Well, we try to be of assistance to the government to support them in implementing their development priorities. We have had large-scale interventions in the field of culture. First, because we work with professional associations and the Ministry of Culture. We have tried to revive the cultural traditions in Uzbekistan through handicrafts workshops, make sure that these traditional ways of doing handicrafts are respected and revived and transmitted to the future generations. With regard to education, we have done many interventions with regard to quality of education, such as we have worked on the concept of sustainable development. We have worked in the field of HIV and AIDS prevention. But now Uzbekistan is living in a very important moment, because it's applying for membership in the Global Partnership for Education. And there many agencies have come to play. UNICEF is what we call a coordinating agency, preparing or assisting the government in its application for membership. The World Bank also helps with the grant application, because Uzbekistan will hopefully benefit from some grant funding for the education sector plan. And then UNESCO's role has been to help design the education sector plan. It's the first sectoral plan that Uzbekistan has prepared, and we are very pleased that now we have a sort of holistic, comprehensive look at the education sector needs in its diversity.
Thank you very much, Krista, for this detailed answer. UNESCO has been around for quite a while in Uzbekistan now, and it has become one of the institutions that is close to the hearts and souls of Uzbek nation. If you could tell us more about the vision that UNESCO has for the nearest future, about the plans.
There are many plans, of course, in all UNESCO's areas of competence, which are education, the sciences, culture and communication and information. Perhaps what is worth highlighting is our work in the area of the media, because we only recently celebrated the 3rd May, which is the World Press Freedom Day, and UNESCO is a lead agency for the press freedom and freedom of expression. So, and on this occasion, for instance, we launched work on the elaboration by the national partners of professional and ethical standards of journalists. We believe that this is a very important undertaking, because of the fact that that this will help the media self-regulate rather than imposing legislative measures on the media. So we believe that it's a very important factor that contributes to freedom of expression. Then, for instance, we have a new project starting in the field of arts education. This is a regional project, and I was very glad when I heard that Uzbekistan was chosen as one of the pilot countries, because there will be 4 countries working on arts education. And what we try to do is to learn from the country's experience on how the formal education system teaches young people about their heritage, both intangible and tangible heritage, but focusing on intangible heritage. So we have invited the Ministry of Public Education and the Ministry of Culture, together with some experts around the table, to discuss on how Uzbek young people are taught about their heritage or their ancestors. And I think it's very exciting, because then these 4 countries will help design a module curricula that will then be, spread across the region and be adapted to specific country contexts. So these are, for instance, 2 of the projects that we are just launching, which I think are very exciting. But of course, UNESCO looks forward to also working more closely with the other UN agencies in the country. We believe that there are synergies that can be created when different agencies combine their specific angles and perspectives on development issues.
And as we know, recently, great cultural festival Asrlar Sadosi was held in Uzbekistan. Tell us please about your impressions and what was this event for UNESCO?
Well, it's the 5th time already that this festival is organized under UNESCO's auspices. It's a 6th festival, but we have patronized it 5 times. And for UNESCO, of course, it's very important that these festivals take place where population can sort of experience their heritage and traditions. So for me personally, it was interesting to see these different manifestations of intangible heritage of Uzbekistan, like music and dance and games and wrestling and I don't know, horse riding. The fact that the festival travels from one place to another is also interesting. This time it was organized in Sharm-el-Sheikh Gorge, where there are very interesting rock paintings or petroglyphs. And we also had the occasion to visit the petroglyph sites and witness that they are really very well preserved. So they are not yet on the UNESCO World Heritage List, but I think that they have a good chance to become one day also a World Heritage property. But in addition to this occasion to experience these traditions, the festival also is an opportunity for us to discuss culture-related issues. So in this framework, our office also proposed to the Fund Forum to organize a roundtable on culture and sustainable development. And this happened on the 1st of May in Tashkent. And we were very pleased to see a very high-level attendance, starting with ministers and members of parliament, but also bringing together intelligentsia of Uzbekistan, representatives of different cultural institutions, and they very strongly actually called for inclusion of culture in the post-2015 agenda, and they thought that culture is a very important aspect in development. So it was a very successful event. Another event that I also attended was a launching of a series of books on epigraphs. This is another sort of undiscovered aspect of culture in Uzbekistan, because for the outside world, we all have heard about the World Heritage listed sites like Bukhara, Khiva, Samarkand, Shahrijabs. But what is more hidden to the outside world is these calligraphic texts that are often on the walls of these buildings. And they haven't been very widely studied, but now a group of scholars over 2 years under the support of Fund Forum studied them and published a series of research books on these epigraphs. And I think it's a wonderful work that has been done. And I really commend the group of scientists who worked on it and produced such a wonderful series of publications.
Krista Picard, thank you very much for taking the time and joining the UNews Weekly. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much.
Well, with this, we bring the episode 15 of the UNews Weekly to an end, and we, of course, thank you for your company.
If you want to find more, go to www.un.us.
And on Facebook, you can always stay abreast of the latest developments and social interactive campaigns of the UNIC Tashkent by going to facebook.com/UNIC Tashkent. For now, it's me and my entire team saying goodbye to you.